Hey there, today we're going to go over how to set up the Skyview Backpacker. And before we start, I just want to say thank you so much for buying from Skyview Tents. We're a small business. We're passionate about what we build and you're helping us live our dreams. So thank you sincerely so much. First things first, the footprint is at the top of the bag. So you can take that out, lay it on the ground. Then tent comes out. Now you're going to want to unroll the tent, and the stakes and poles are going to be at the end. First thing you want to do is stake the tent down. This is because once you rig it up to the frame assembly, if a big wind gust comes, it can blow it away. So stake it down first. The outer loop of the footprint goes with the outer loop of the tent, and the stake goes through both of them. And you want to pull the corners apart nice and tight. Once the four corners are staked down, nice and pulled apart, you can assemble the poles. The poles are all shot corded together, so it's very easy to snap them in place. Once your pole assembly is completed, you put it into the grommets at each corner. Now you're going to grab the first peak. We have this UV resistant elastic that goes over our tubular bracket, and just pull it right over like that, and then you do the side clips. Then you go to the opposite peak, grab the elastic, pull it over the tubular bracket. Once both ends are fully clipped together, don't forget about the top clips. Now the tent is just about fully assembled. The last step is staking out the vestibules. The vestibules act as guy wires for these tents. The A-frame is very stable in this direction, but it will rock this way. So you need to do at least 1/2 of the vestibule on both sides of the tent for stability in high winds. You can disconnect one end. Roll it up. Now you're all set up and ready to camp. The rainfly is sewn into this side, and it takes up less viewing space than the rainfly overlap. So I always put my head on this side. Before going to sleep, I undo these buttons that hold the rainfly in place, and then at any point in time you can grab it in the middle of the night, pull it to the front. With the buttons undone, the rainfly is ready to be pulled across in seconds at any point in time if you feel weather coming in. The rainfly attaches to the paracord loops at the front of the tent, cinches down nice and tight. Then once that's done, you can lock the paracord track down by connecting these hooks at the bottom. What this does is it makes it so the rainfly cannot blow up and into the tent in high winds. The next step is attaching our internal X-brace to the rainfly. It runs through a loop at the peak of the tent and attaches to the paracord that is sewn into the gutters. When fully connected, the internal cross brace attaches to the sewn-in paracord loop, and then this side attaches to this loop right here. It runs up through a loop at the inside peak, back down to the far side. What this does is it pulls up on the gutter and it reinforces the rainfly against perpendicular winds. Pro tip, when opening and closing the rainfly after rain, you can slap the rain off a little bit, and then when you slide it to the front, you make sure you do it from the bottom so the rainfly cannot come up over the top of the gutter. So I grab it from the bottom, slide it to the front, and then secure it down in place, no rain gets into the tent. Pro tip, I always make sure the buttons are facing each other so it's easy to disconnect it. This top track is adjustable, so you can make it very tight when you're hanging something off it, but note, it will pull the tent in together and make the mesh a little loose. So keep that in mind. If the mesh is ever looking funky, you can loosen it up and it'll be nice and smooth. Now, for how to take the tent down. You start with the top clips, disconnect, undo the vestibule. Now, side clips. Last, grab the knot right here, pull it just up and over this bracket, drop it down to the front. Toss it down. Then you'll break down the pole assembly. Pole assembly has its own bag. Then you grab all your stakes. Pro tip for getting the stakes out. Check this out. Once you get one, you can pull them out really easily using a stake. Stakes go in the stake bag. The tent folds into 2/3. Then the poles and the stakes go on top, and it's all rolled up together. Fits right back in the bag. Easy peasy. The footprint folds up, sits on top. Folded footprint. Plenty of space in the bag. And you're good to go.